my NXT rookie is Daniel Bryan.
You haven't been in the WWE for a minute.
Where's your personality? Where's your charisma? You haven't done anything in the WWE.
I select Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan was one of the best babyfaces that we've ever seen. Even with this, the company never wanted him to get his fair shot at the top. He was severely overlooked, but Bryan never stopped. He fought for every opportunity he got, and he was living proof that talent speaks louder than hype. For example, in 2003, Bryan Danielson was in WWE, but fought on Velocity. Velocity was basically a show to give young superstars light, so Daniel had matches against the great Jamie Noble. Ah yes, the guy who was Seth Rollins' bitch, and the guy who couldn't get on all the rides at Disney World. God, I love Randy. But anyway, Daniel had a match against John Cena before his come-up. I never knew this happened, but an okay match, which John Cena won. These two would definitely see each other in the future. Daniel had an 18-month contract with WWE, which was not renewed. After this started his legendary Ring of Honor and independent run. I personally don't know a lot about this run, other than he had matches with CM Punk, Lance Storm, Tyler Black, Roderick Strong, Kenny Omega, and AJ Styles, plus more. If anyone knows any good matches to look at, let me know in the comment section. But Daniel was a big star for years to come and held a bunch of titles. So, a couple years later in February 2010, Bryan was hired back to WWE for NXT. NXT at the time was a joke and was mostly a game show. I'll go in deeper later. But Bryan's first match was against Chris Jericho, which he lost by submission, and Bryan's coach was The Miz, which these two have always disliked each other over the coming years. So, Daniel would do challenges and be a part of NXT for the next couple months, but on June 7th, John Cena had a match, but after, a new group called The Nexus including Bryan came out and beat the hell out of Cena and everyone. One problem after this, Bryan was fired. Deadass. He was fired for choking Justin Roberts with a tie. But at SummerSlam, Bryan returned with Team Cena to beat the Nexus. Bryan took the Miz's spot, but I gotta play this.
Cena, Brett, your team's in trouble.
Yeah.
I'll let you know Sunday.
Awesome! Yes, the man.
Miz, way too late. WWE is Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan! This is ridiculous!
Yo, the Miz just got bitched by his own student. That's so crazy. So, this would lead to a match at Night of Champions for the US title, and Daniel will go on to win his first championship. So now, let's fast forward to 2013. John Cena was looking for a SummerSlam opponent, and not gonna lie, there were straight bums on the stage. So, Cena picked Daniel, and the crowd was into it. At SummerSlam, they put on an amazing match, and Daniel finally did it. He won the WWE Championship. But this happened. From this moment on, we all hated the Authority. Triple H called a hit and they screwed over Daniel. And this made the fans love him even more. See, look, you had badass characters like Randy, Roman, Seth, and Brock. Why would you want a 5'10" goat face who was decent on the mic? Why did the fans choose him? Well, Daniel was our goat face, and he was our B+ player. And on November 9th, the WWE had a champion ascension ceremony, and the person who had the most appeal, mind you, there's legends in the ring. Daniel had the whole energy, and he carried this into WrestleMania. At WrestleMania 30, Daniel won the World Heavyweight title. He finally got his moment. However, it didn't have a happy ending, unfortunately. At Extreme Rules, Daniel faced Kane for the title, and Daniel won, but unfortunately, he had a very serious injury, and he had to retire. I still remember the promo, and it was very sad, but Daniel would try again to come back, but the company wouldn't let him. Eventually, he would be the SmackDown GM with Shane, and then in 2018 at WrestleMania 34, he finally returned in the ring. After this, Daniel won the WWE title as a heel, and he had an okay run with it. So now, let's move to the pandemic era. On April 30th, 2021, Daniel faced Roman for the title, but his career was on the line, and Roman beat Daniel. Daniel Bryan left WWE. Why did this happen? Well, let's take a look back at Daniel Bryan's career. And real quick before the video starts, our TikTok's on the screen right now. Go follow our TikTok. As soon as we hit the threshold, we're going to go live so you guys can get to know us outside these videos. And go follow our Instagram. That's where we're going to do polls and stuff to know what you guys want to see on this channel. And alright, let's get into the video. When Daniel was in Ring of Honor, he faced future stars and people who would eventually lead companies. Like I said before, I don't know anything about this run, so y'all recommend some great matches to watch. He would fight all over the world to get back to the WWE and prove that he was good enough for another chance. So eventually, he got another chance. However, not on Raw or SmackDown, but with NXT. See, NXT wasn't what it is today. Today it's considered the third brand, and it's pure wrestling and it's actually entertaining. But then in 2010, NXT was a complete joke. It was basically just a game show. Sure, they had matches, but like 75% of the show was dumb challenges. Like, I remember the obstacle course, when Cody was kissing divas, karaoke, and just pointless stuff to me. Maybe you liked it, I don't know. It wasn't for me. Daniel would compete in challenges and cut promos, but he was one of the first people eliminated. And I won't lie, he was on a stacked season with Wade and Heath and just future members of the Nexus. The only thing to take from this was his feud with The Miz. Dude, his own coach beat his ass after losing a match. That's crazy. These two hate each other, and there would be more instances in the future. So, it made sense when Daniel got called up, took The Miz's spot, they would have a match for the US title. Daniel won the US title in one of his first matches in the company. That's actually impressive. Daniel held the US title for a long time, coming out to 176 days. He eventually lost it to Sheamus. So, Daniel needed another big opportunity. The company put him in the 2011 Money in the Bank ladder match, and Daniel would go on to win Money in the Bank. He held the contract for a little while, and eventually, on December 18, 2011, Mark Henry and The Big Show had a match for the World Heavyweight title. And I gotta say, I missed this title so much. It had so much aura. But after the match, this happened.
There's no way. Daniel Bryan! This is for you!
Daniel won the World Heavyweight title. It wasn't the WWE title, but for a year in the company, they gave him a couple of chances that worked out for him. And if it couldn't get better, Daniel bagged the girl of his dreams in AJ Lee. This dude was living his best life. So, at WrestleMania 28, Daniel defended his title against Sheamus. And you know, before the match, his girl had to give him a good luck kiss. Yo, this led to the craziest thing of all time.
Oh man! A pro kick by Wade Champion!
And ladies and gentlemen, this right here was the kiss of death. You could just tell Vince wrote this. He was probably in the back like laughing so hard. If this was me, I would throw this chick out and everything. But Daniel had another idea. He proposed! Yeah, see, that's a huge mistake. But you know what? I'm not gonna hate. You know, it's not like she's gonna say no on the stage, right? Well, sorry to break it to y'all, but that's exactly what happened. And to make it even worse, Vince took his girl. Yo, I swear to God, Vince is never beating those allegations. And he made AJ the GM of Raw. It was her sole mission to make Daniel's life hell. It got to the point where Daniel crashed out so hard, he needed anger management with the GOAT Dr. Shelby. And by the way, his main op was in the class. Daniel wasn't having it, but this surprisingly led to one of the best storylines I've ever seen. It was so great. You know, one of our first videos on this channel was a Team Hell No video. If you want to check it out after this video, go watch it. So, this led to Daniel and Kane being a team and winning the tag titles. It was pure cinema. They eventually trusted each other after countless fights over stress balls, Harold, Disneyland, and other things. These segments and everything was amazing. It led to them graduating anger management and making everyone hug. I can't speak a lot on it, but Daniel joined the Wyatt family for like 2 weeks. It was dope, and this made the fans love him even more. It was insane. Just look at this. Yeah, Daniel was tough. After this though, Daniel needed something bigger. He wanted to prove he could lead the company and be the face of it. And to be honest, fans like me were completely into and for it. One problem though, 3 people didn't see him as the face of the company: Triple H, Stephanie, and Vince McMahon. You can just watch some promos and you can just tell that they didn't like Daniel at all. But us fans were adamant we wanted Daniel. At the time, he was the most over person in the company. So they finally gave him his chance at SummerSlam 2014 versus John Cena for the WWE title. They put on an amazing match, which, by the way, Triple H was a special guest ref, and Daniel beat John Cena. Everything Daniel worked for was for this very moment, until the Authority screwed him over after winning the belt, and you could just tell this was such a Vince and Triple H call. They hated Daniel so much, but this made the fans love him even more. Vince probably thought the fans wouldn't care, but it did the complete opposite. Like I said earlier during the Champion Ascension ceremony, Bryan was the main star. Everyone wanted him. And I gotta say, this is where the B+ player saying started. The Authority made me want to punch my TV every time I heard this shit. Daniel Bryan was our B+ player. Our guy. We wanted him to get a shot. A real shot. Before the Royal Rumble, the company had one more idea to push Daniel aside.
The beast has been unleashed! Batista!
Batista, which wasn't a terrible idea. Have him turn face, win the Royal Rumble, and face Randy in the main event of Mania. So, Batista won the Rumble, and it looked like we were getting Randy vs. Batista. But one problem, the fans weren't going for that. So, what happened? Well, they turned Batista heel because the fans were booing him, and Daniel wanted Triple H. And I bet Triple H didn't even want to have the match. It got to the point where Triple H finally accepted, and the winner would face Randy and Batista for the world title. The build for Mania was so amazing. Basically every week, Triple H would take Daniel out back and beat the hell out of him. But everyone was 100% with Daniel. So, the first match of Mania was Daniel vs. Triple H, and it was pretty good. And I gotta say, Triple H's entrance was so tough. But Daniel would beat Triple H, advancing to the main event. After the match, Triple H would jump Daniel, injuring him. So now, it was time for the main event. Randy vs. Batista vs. Daniel Bryan. Would he get his moment on the grandest stage of them all? This was a 10 out of 10 match, but Batista and Randy teamed up for a minute. Daniel got carted off, came back, and Daniel made Batista tap out to finally get his moment, and it was amazing. I bet the Authority was salty though. One person that was mad was Batista. He came back to most likely win the title and get cheered by the fans, but the complete opposite happened. He got booed and looked weak by tapping out. With this moment, Daniel paved the way for people like Cody and Kofi, but more on Kofi later. I have to say though, Batista and The Rock had the same playbook, and it literally went the same exact way both times. Everyone was hyped to see what type of title reign Daniel would have, but however, he had to retire and give up the title after 63 days due to poor health and neck injuries that led him to have seizures. And they made him give up the title on a random Raw. The company made this into a feud between Brie and Stephanie, which Nikki turned on her own sister. Like what? Dog, I can't be the only one that's seeing this. See, I don't want to assume things, but I bet Vince and Triple H were a little happy at the time. I just get that feeling. Bryan retired in 2016 on Raw, and he promised to do everything in his power that he could come back. So, what was next for Daniel? Well, he would become the SmackDown general manager with Shane McMahon, still trying everything in his power to come back. He would mostly be on Total Divas and Bellas, and I gotta say, the storylines they had on these shows were completely whack. Like, Daniel bought a trailer for all these superstars to go on, and then 2 days later, they caught Jimmy and Naomi doing it on the bus. Like, what? And let's not talk about Cena about to call the animal control on a mutt. You would see real emotion showing he would give it all to wrestle again. I have to say, in 2016 on Talking Smack, The Miz and Daniel would completely get into it, and I would say this was real. Renee Young said that she was getting orders to go off air. Like I said earlier, these two never really liked each other. Just look.
I wrestle like a coward.
You wrestle like a coward.
He promises them, I will be back, but you didn't, Daniel, did you?
If they would let me come back, I would come back.
Oh, this is a great show, but we're talking here. I need to talk to you. No, don't you walk away from me, Daniel.
The only thing The Miz was right about that he's never been injured, and I truly believe that he's overhated, but you can just tell this pissed Daniel off. So, nearly 2 years later, Shane was in a feud with Kevin Owens and Sami, and Daniel finally got the okay to return in the ring at WrestleMania 34. The build to the match was pretty good, and at WrestleMania, Shane and Daniel got the win. Eventually later in the year, he turned heel and won the WWE title from AJ Styles. Bryan would debut a new title, and honestly, I low-key liked it. It's not a title I'd buy, but it's different, so I liked it. Around WrestleMania, another superstar was on the same come-up as him in 2014, and his name was Kofi Kingston. Kofi was over with the fans heavy, but Vince wasn't for it. He made Kofi be in handicap matches and everything, but Kofi defied all odds and finally got the match versus Bryan for the title at WrestleMania 35. The best thing about this card was in the pre-show and during the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Mind you, it was like a week or two after Odell got traded to the Browns. Yo, this straight jobber pulled up in a Cleveland Odell jersey. And mind you, they were in MetLife Stadium. Yo, that's diabolical. Anyway, they had an okay match, but Daniel gave Kofi his moment and he won the WWE title. And I bet no matter what, he wanted to give Kofi the win. And let me know if you want to see a Kofi Mania video. I'd be down to make one, but you gotta tell Ange it'd be a good video. After this, Daniel would just chill for real. In 2019, he would feud with The Fiend, and I wish we could have seen more of these two together, to be honest. They had a strap match at the Royal Rumble, and The Fiend won to retain the Universal title. So now, let's jump to the pandemic era. Daniel would feud with the Bloodline and Roman Reigns. Edge would win the Royal Rumble and face Roman in the main event of Mania 37. But Daniel would be added to the match, and it would be a pretty good match with Roman stacking them both and winning. Daniel talked his way into getting another title shot, so on April 30th, 2021, they had another match, and Daniel's career was on the line. And eventually, Roman beat Daniel to make him leave WWE. So the next question is, what was next for Daniel? Well, in late 2021, there'd be rumors saying Daniel would join the alternate choice in AEW. AEW at the time was on the come up, and they just signed CM Punk, and had a lot of homegrown talent like MJF, Hangman, Kenny Omega, and just way more. So, on September 5th at All Out, after Adam Cole debuted, this happened.
And good night.
Bryan Danielson was here, but I gotta say, look at Wrestling Days' reaction.
No, Daniel! No, Daniel! How?
Yo, I love him, he's great. I'm not gonna go over his whole time there, that's a different video for a different day, but over the years, he had great matches with numerous people, and eventually, at All In London, Bryan beat Swerve to win the AEW World Championship with Brie and his kids. I will say I just watched him and MJF at Revolution, and that was an amazing match, but eventually, Bryan would get turned on by Jon Moxley's group and lose the AEW title. After the match, they choked him out with a bag, and it wasn't sure if he was ever going to wrestle again. By the way, this all happened in his hometown. Moxley was a force to be reckoned with, but at All In recently, Danielson came back and helped Hangman beat Moxley. I don't know if this was a one-off or he's coming back, but I'm interested to see. So now, let's answer one last question. Why did Daniel Bryan leave WWE? Well, Bryan left for multiple reasons, like his health concerns and creative frustrations. He wanted to have longer matches and be in a place that was more wrestling focused. Bryan liked in AEW that most of the focus was in the ring/matches rather than backstage segments and promos. Also, Bryan showed love to multiple AEW superstars and wanted to work with them. Also, loved the culture. But yeah, y'all, that's the video. Daniel Bryan loved his time in WWE, but it was an uphill battle. He did everything to be a top guy, and the company tried to push him out of the picture, but us fans weren't having it. In 2016, he was trying to leave because they wouldn't clear him, but the WWE wouldn't release him, and that's why he got pissed at The Miz for bringing that to the public. Bryan Danielson left because he wanted to get the absolute best of what he had left in his wrestling career, but that's it. Daniel Bryan paved the way, and he was living proof you could do anything you want to. Don't listen to the haters, just do you. And Daniel, if we've seen it all from you, thank you. Thank you for all the memories. And make sure to go follow our Instagram. We're going to do polls, and we're going to give you guys sneak peeks on what you guys want to see on this channel. And go follow our TikTok. We're eventually going to go live and do all that stuff, so make sure you're there. I hope y'all enjoyed the video and everything. And you already know, Brother Productions, we're going to take over this YouTube shit. And alright, y'all. Brother Productions, out of here.